On January 2nd, it was reported that an ancient drawing of a demon blamed for epileptic seizures has been discovered on a 27-year-old Assyrian clay tablet. The tablet came from the library of a family of exorcists who lived in about 650 BC in the city of Assur, now in northern Iraq, but it's likely it was copied from a much older text. The tablet is written in cuneiform, and the inscription describes cures for convulsions, twitches, and other involuntary muscle movements. The affliction, called Benu by the Assyrians, is now interpreted as symptoms of epilepsy. On January 16th, a team of archaeologists published a paper in the journal Levant that the remains of a previously unknown Canaanite temple, dating from the 12th century BCE, has been uncovered in the northeastern corner of the site of Tel Lachish in Israel. Lachish was one of the most important Canaanite cities in the land of Israel during the Middle and Late Bronze Ages. Its people controlled large parts of the Judean lowlands. The city was built around 1800 BCE and later destroyed by the Egyptians around 1550 BCE. It was rebuilt and destroyed twice more, succumbing for good around 1150 BCE. The settlement is mentioned in both the Bible and in various Egyptian sources, and was one of the few Canaanite cities to survive into the 12th century BCE. The Assyrian International News Agency reported on January 17th that archaeologists uncovered 10 large engraved panels placed along an ancient irrigation canal at Fata, an Assyrian archaeological site in northern Iraq. The canal is thought to have been built by the Assyrian ruler Sargon between 705 and 720 BC. It is shown at either end of the row of panels in front of statues of 7 divinities placed on the backs of mythical animals, including the god Osir on a dragon and a lion with horns, and his wife Mulusu sitting on a throne supported by a lion. On January 23rd, the earliest known mosaic in the world, a primitive tiled floor laid in a geometric design, was discovered in a pre-classic Hittite city in central Turkey. Moreover, the settlement where the mosaic was found may be the lost Hittite city of Zippalanda. The floor was paved with some 3,000 pieces of stone that appear to have been roughly shaped and cut. The archaeological mission in Minya, about 300 kilometers south of Egypt's capital Cairo, announced on January 30th that it had found 16 tombs filled with 20 sarcophagi, including a wooden sarcophagus of the sky god Horus. The communal tombs dated back to around 2600 BCE. The tombs also included hundreds of amulets and 10,000 blue funerary statues. On February 4th, it was announced that the third well from the early Neolithic period has been discovered in the Czech Republic within the last 4 years. A chest-like well lining was formed by 4 oak corner posts, each with 2 longitudinal grooves set at 90 degrees to each other, in which oak planks were inserted horizontally in 7 layers. They found that the oak trees used for the Ostrov well were cut between 5256 and 5255 BCE. This is not only the oldest discovered wooden well in Europe, but also the oldest dendrochronologically dated archaeological wood in the world. On February 12th, it was reported that a new study demonstrated that an unknown hominin made a substantial contribution to the genome of modern West Africans. The genetic signal of this unknown ancestral species has been identified in 4 groups of West Africans. The interbreeding event may have been quite recent in evolutionary terms, even though this new unknown species split off the Homo line well over 500,000 years ago, before the split between Neanderthals and Homo sapiens. We learned on February 17th that archaeologists have found an ancient sarcophagus that they believe commemorated Romulus, the fabled founder of Rome, describing it as an exceptional discovery. Experts found the 2,600-year-old sarcophagus hidden in an underground chamber beneath the Roman Forum, once the bustling heart of the Roman Empire, full of temples and palaces. The stone sarcophagus is 1.4 meters long and dates from the 6th century BCE. The discovery is the culmination of a quest that began a year ago when archaeologists first started excavating the area. For years, there has been a controversial theory about the famous 33-year-old tomb of King Tutankhamun, that Queen Nefertiti's remains are contained just beyond its walls. A team of scientists led by the former Egyptian Minister of Antiquities, El-Damati, seem to have recently confirmed the theory. The researchers surveyed the tomb with ground-penetrating radar and discovered a previously unknown space near King Tut's burial. The uncovered area is roughly 7 feet high and 33 feet long. The theory of Nefertiti's burial was first advanced in 2015 by a British Egyptologist who said there could be a secret chamber behind the tomb of King Tutankhamun. The theory was backed up by initial research later that year. 3 years later, in a sudden scientific twist, a different team found evidence refuting the theory. Using radar, Franco Perselli and his team spent 3 years exploring the area around the pharaoh's tomb and concluded there was nothing there. But on February 19th, El-Damati's team entered the fray. The scientific journal Nature saw details of his team's brand new and unpublished report, which revealed more evidence of the secret enclosure that could contain Nefertiti's remains. The team presented their research to Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities earlier in February. It should come as no surprise that Zahi Hawass claims the technology that El-Damati's team used is not reliable. It has never made any discovery at any site in Egypt, he told Nature. Considering his checkered criminal past, we believe it is safe to ignore his analysis. On February 21st, it was reported that archaeologists from the Oriental Institute have discovered a lost ancient kingdom dating to 1400 BCE to 600 BCE, which may have defeated the kingdom ruled by King Midas in battle. University of Chicago scholars and students were surveying a site with Turkish and British colleagues last summer in southern Turkey when a local farmer told them he'd seen a big stone with strange inscriptions while dredging a nearby irrigation canal the previous winter. Translated by the OI scholars, the pronouncement boasted of defeating Phrygia, the kingdom ruled by King Midas, legendary ancient ruler said to have a golden touch. It appears the city at its height covered over 300 acres, which could make it one of the largest ancient cities of Bronze and Iron Age Turkey. On February 24th, we learned that Islamabad's newly developed neighborhood of I-11 turned out to be the site of a 5,000-year-old human settlement. The presence of a large number of potsherds, beads, bangles, and semi-precious stones at the site point to the Buddhist period, archaeologists say. The cultural profile of the mound is a telltale sign of possibly a stupa or a monastery buried here. The team of experts have urged the government to protect the archaeological site that has the potential to develop heritage tourism in Islamabad. Archaeologists announced on February 25th that they have used laser technology to map a 62-mile Maya stone road that could have been built 1,300 years ago to help with the invasion of an isolated city in modern-day Mexico. The ancient highway is thought to have been constructed at the command of the warrior Queen Lady Kawil Ojal and would have been coated with white plaster. To take their measurements, the authors made use of an airborne LiDAR instrument, which beamed lasers at the surface as it passed over the ancient road. The LiDAR scans uncovered 8,130 structures clustered along the ancient road. In the paper, it is estimated that their combined volume would fill 2,900 Olympic-sized swimming pools. We hope you enjoyed this first edition of the Archives Archaeology 2020 series, and we encourage you to check us out at the end of April for edition 2.